My best friend got fired for stealing a $340 deposit she never touched, and I'm the reason there's proof. Not because I'm brave, because I'm the kind of person who initials a checklist the same way, in the same box, 206 nights in a row. And it turns out that's exactly the kind of person you should never lie to about a camera. Sana got me the job at the Copper Kettle 2 years ago, back when I was 19 and couldn't get hired anywhere else in town. She talked the manager into the interview, trained me on the grill herself, and covered my closing shifts through both of my finals weeks without ever mentioning it again. When the closing lead spot opened up, she pushed my name instead of her own. Everything I had, the paycheck, the apartment, the little bit of respect, ran through her first. Closing lead at the Copper Kettle means one ritual that never changes, and I mean never. Count the drawer twice. Zip the cash into the gray bank bag, lock the bag in the floor safe under the office desk. Then look up at the camera over the safe and check that its little red light is on. 4 boxes on the closing checklist, 4 initials, clip it to the office door, kill the lights. I had run that ritual 206 times, and I could do it half asleep, which is usually what I was. The Tuesday deposit came up $340 short, and Sana had closed that Tuesday. The manager didn't ask her a single question. He called her in before the lunch rush, slid a termination form across the desk, and had her name tag unpinned from her shirt while the first tables were still ordering coffee. She called me from her car in the parking lot. I've known her voice for 2 years, and the voice on the phone didn't sound like it belonged to her. I went to him that same afternoon, still in my apron, and said the camera over the safe would clear her in 5 minutes. Just scroll back to Tuesday night. He didn't reach for the keyboard. He didn't even glance at the monitor. He leaned back in his chair and told me the camera had been broken all that week. An electrical fault, he said. Already reported to the owner. Already scheduled for repair. Nothing recorded. Nothing to see. He said it smooth, like a man reading from a card. But I initial that camera's red light every single night I close, on a checklist with my handwriting on it, and I had closed 3 of the 5 nights that week. The light was on Monday. The light was on Wednesday. The light was on Saturday. Either I had imagined a glowing red dot 3 separate times, or the fault was invented, and I don't imagine things at 1 in the morning. I count them. The checklists live in a black binder on the office shelf, filed in date order, because I'm the one who files them. So the next afternoon, while he took a delivery call out by the walk-in, I pulled the binder and photographed the entire week, page by page, with my heart going like a fry timer. Camera light checked. My initials. Sana's initials on the Tuesday. Every night accounted for, including the one that supposedly never got recorded. I laid my phone on his desk with the Tuesday checklist filling the screen and asked, as evenly as I could manage, how a broken camera gets a checked box. He looked at it for a long 3 seconds. Then he said, checklists get pencil whipped all the time, and if I wanted a conversation about sloppy paperwork, he'd be glad to start with mine. And while we were at it, with the spare office key I'd been carrying for 8 months and never turned back in, he smiled when he got to the part about the key. I drove home with the radio off, because I needed the quiet to think one thought all the way through. A manager with a broken camera pulls the footage to prove it's broken. He clicks twice, shows you static, and the whole thing dies in his office. A manager with a working camera threatens your key. So I got boring. For my next 3 closes, I did everything exactly by the book, smiled at him, said goodnight. But I also started reading the deposit log, the green ledger, where every night's bank bag gets logged in and signed off. Short deposits weren't rare at the Copper Kettle. They were a season. 9 of them in 3 months between $40 and $400, spread across 5 different closers so no single name ever came up twice in a row. 3 of those closers didn't work at the Copper Kettle anymore. I found out from the old group chat, one careful question at a time. All 3 had been fired the same way Sana was. A short bag, a termination form, no police report, no appeal, a quiet we won't press charges if you go easy. 4 people in 3 months had signed checklists swearing the camera light was on, and 4 people in 3 months had sat in that office and been called thieves. Nobody ever compared notes, because getting fired for stealing is not a thing you post about. Sana called me that Thursday to say she'd found 2 interviews, and both had asked why she left the kettle. I almost told her everything right there at the kitchen counter. But all I had was a photographed checklist and a theory, and if I was wrong, I'd have handed her a hope worth less than the paper. I told her I was working on something and hung up before she could ask what. She didn't ask. That's the part that stuck. The camera feeds a recorder that sits on a shelf in the office closet, behind the till rolls. Once, with the owner standing right there, I heard the manager tell him the recorder wipes itself every 7 days. Cheap system, nothing to be done about old footage. That was lie number 2, and it was checkable because it's the same silver box my uncle runs at his shop. Same brand, same model. My uncle's holds 30 days. I spent an afternoon last summer scrolling through 28 of them looking for a stolen bike. Sunday night I closed alone, the way the schedule already had it. The manager left at 11 with a wave, and I waved back. I locked the front door behind the last customer, flipped the sign, and propped Sana's name tag on the office desk where I could see it while I worked. Then I opened the closet, moved the till rolls, and plugged a monitor into the recorder. My hands went cold before I ever pressed play. Not shaking, just cold, like they already knew what was on the drive. I scrolled back to the Tuesday. At 1:14 in the morning, 40 minutes after Sana's checklist was clipped to the door, the office light snaps on. The manager walks in wearing street clothes, off shift, hood up, punches his own code into the floor safe, unzips the gray bank bag, and counts bills into his jacket pocket. He counts them twice, the same way I count the drawer. Then he zips the bag, sets it back, wipes the safe handle with his sleeve, and kills the light. 51 seconds, start to finish. I timed it on the rewatch. I checked the other 8 short nights one by one, sitting on a milk crate in the closet until almost 4 in the morning. He's on camera for 7 of them. Same street clothes, same code, same jacket pocket, never more than a minute inside. The recorder had been watching him the entire time, holding 30 days of him on a loop, exactly like my uncle's, while he sat across that desk from 4 different people and watched them cry about a camera he swore was broken. Monday, he caught me refilling the till rolls and stood in the closet doorway a beat too long. He asked if anyone had been in the office over the weekend. I said just me, closing, same as always, and kept stacking rolls with the 2 flash drives riding in my apron pocket a foot from his hand. He watched me work for a moment. Then he told me I was getting a quarter raise on the next check, for being reliable. 9 deposits, 4 firings, 206 nights I checked that red light for him, and he thanked me by name at every single staff meeting. I had copied every clip onto a flash drive, then onto a second flash drive, because by then my hands were shaking too hard to trust the first. Sunday night, I'd put the recorder back behind the till rolls, squared the binder on its shelf, clocked out at 4:51, and driven home with both drives zipped in my apron pocket, pressed flat against Sana's name tag. At every red light, I checked the pocket again. The owner comes in Saturdays at 8 for the manager's weekly numbers meeting. So Saturday at 7:58, I sat in my car in the Copper Kettle lot and built one message. The Tuesday clip, the 7 other clips, the deposit log photos, the checklists, the dates lined up in 2 columns, addressed to the owner, to Sana, and to the 3 closers who never got an appeal. Through the windshield, I watched the manager carry his coffee inside and hold the door for the morning cook. I hit send.